Hi and welcome to Priori Digital Studio tutorial. In this video, I will show you how to set up and use your family travel planner spreadsheet in the most efficient way. So in this video, I'm using Google Sheets, but the Excel version is exactly the same. First thing first, we protect most of the cells where there are formulas to make sure that you don't erase any important formulas that could impact the spreadsheet. So if you see this message right here, it means that you are not supposed to touch it. But don't worry, I'll show you step by step how to prepare your spreadsheet. So if by mistake you touch something that you're not supposed to, just click on cancel. So in this page, most of the information is auto-populated, as you can see here. Don't worry, when you receive the sheet, everything will be empty, but I put a few mock data to show you how to use this spreadsheet. You only have to enter a few parameters like the number of travelers. Let's say we have 2 adults, 2 children. Enter the destination currency. Let's say it's in euro. And the language. So here is French. As for the pictures, let's just delete it. Let's say you want to enter a picture here. Just click on insert, then image, then insert image in cell. I have the picture on my computer, so I just browse. Let's put the Eiffel Tower. Here we go. So you can basically put any pictures that you want. For the rest of this page, we will come back later when we have more data. So now let's go to the travel research and reservation. So this tab will help you organize all your research you will be doing before deciding on a destination, as well as all the reservation once the destination is decided. So I added a few data beforehand to show you how it will look like. All the tables worked pretty much the same, so let's just take the destination tab as an example. So in this table, the only thing that you have to do is to fill the information manually. Once you decided on the destination, you can simply tick the box and the line will be highlighted in green to highlight your choice. So in my case, I chose Paris, France, but you could write New York, USA, let's say summer, cheap. So all the cells are not automated. You need to write the information. However, be careful. Some cells have automated calculation. So let's take the accommodation table as an example. Right here, you can list many different accommodation and hotels to be able to easily compare the price and other characteristics. Enter most of the information manually. However, so let's take another example, Hotel 6, hotel name, address. Here for the date, if you are on Google Sheet, you can simply double click, and then a small calendar will appear. If you are on Excel, you will have to type this date in. So let's just choose tomorrow's date. Then you enter the time. Here we go. Then the checkout date, let's say 25th. As you can see, the number of nights just changed by itself. Then 10 a.m. Then you can enter the cost per night, let's say $120, and then the total cost will automatically be calculated based on the cost per night and the number of nights you will be staying there. So the same logic applies to the car rental. So you can just enter the company name, the date, time, and then double click for the small calendar. It will automatically count in the number of days. You enter the cost per day and the total cost will be auto-populated. So once you're done, you basically just tick here everything that you decide to reserve, and you can easily see all your reservation information. So let's go to the destination overview. So in this tab, you will be able to see all the top rated destination as well as their important information. In this section, nothing is automated. You will have to enter all the information, and you decide what you want to add, like address, open hours, price, and so on. It's perfect if you want to share this planner with a friend or a family member. So let's take an example. So I filled it in a little bit to show you. But let's take the Eiffel Tower as an example. So let's first insert a picture. Let's take the first one, go to insert image on in cell. So I will browse my computer, Eiffel Tower, open. Here we go. Then I can write the address. Eiffel Tower. Then the opening hour, let's say it opens at 8 a.m. and closes at 11 p.m. Then the price, let's say it's $20. TripAdvisor link, so I basically just found the link online, copy this in. Here we go. The rate, let's say most people say it's 5 on 5 stars, and then I could write a few notes like most important place to visit. Here we go. So you basically do all these for all the best place that you would like to visit. So if you scroll down here, you have a place to list all the top rated places to eat to make sure you enjoy the best food while traveling. Again, nothing is automated. Treat this section as a journal or a planner. So now let's go to the travel budget. The travel budget tab will ensure you stick to your budget and not overspend while traveling abroad. The first thing you want to set up in this tab is entering the date of your travel. So in my case, it was 2023. Then you can choose a month. I'll just pick the same, June, and then the date. Same thing for your end date. So a small budget calendar with colors will appear as soon as you start entering a transaction. So I'll explain this later. Then you need to prepare your budget summary. So you will want to enter the categories and the budget associated. The column real and percentage will fill up automatically later. So let's add a new budget category. Let's say museum. So my budget is $250. And as I said, the real column and the percentage column will be filled as soon as we start tracking some expenses. So then while you are traveling, you will have to track your expenses in the transaction tracker right here in the orange table. You will want to enter the date, the amount, and the category, and using the drop-down menu. So let's say, so my trip was in June. So let's say from June to July. So let's say on the 4th of July, I went to the museum. So I paid $50. And then I need to use the drop-down menu, find museum, and let's say Le Louvre as just a description. Then let's say the day after, I also went to the museum. So museum. Let's say I went to Musée d'Orsay. Here we go. So as you can see, right here, it was 0 beforehand, but now it calculated the total amount I spent on the museum, then the percentage of all my transactions. So as you can see here, at the end of your travel, your transaction tracker will be filled and you'll start to see the data appearing on the left. On the left, you will see that the cumulative of all your expenses per day listed right here and how much left that you have on your budget. Then at the top, you will see your expense breakdown as well as a cumulative expense versus your budget. So while traveling, keep an eye on these two graphs. For each category, you can see the amount budgeted and how much you spend in real life right here. So to go back to the calendar, you will see in the calendar the days where you spent the most in orange and the days where you spent less in green. Below this calendar, you also have a currency exchange calculator. Simply select your country and the country you plan to travel to. So for me, it was Canada. So I just used the drop-down menu to Canada and then Europe in this example. So if you cannot find your currency in the drop-down menu, you simply have to write it here. So in this case, it was Colombia. And then write the 3 currency symbol. In the case of Colombia is COP. Then again, if you now look down at the drop-down menu, Colombia will be added to it. So you can now select it. Then if we scroll down a little bit, in domestic currency, you can write the amount you plan to exchange. So you can change it here, let's say $6,000, and then it's going to give you the amount in euro or in the selected foreign currency. This way you will be able to properly forecast how much you need. So now let's go to the distribution tab. The distribution tab will ensure that you and your travel partner share the bills equally. The first thing you will want to do is to write the spender's name in the yellow table right here. So I already enter a few data to be quicker. So let's just take those names, John and Julia. Here you go. Then each time that you will have a transaction written in the budget, the data will be auto-populated in this tab right here. So you simply have to associate the spenders to the transaction using the drop-down menu. So I left a few examples. So we only have 2 spenders, so that's quite easy. Let's say food, Julia, John, Julia, John, Julia, John and John. Here we go. So now all my expenses are associated with a person. So once you start to have data, you will see the spenders distribution graph changing. You will also see who spends the most money on what. Finally, the spreadsheet will show you who owns money to who and how much. Just like in this example, John owes about $345 to Julia. So now let's go to the daily itinerary tab. So this tab will help you manage your daily itinerary. The dates are automated right here, so you don't need to change anything. But the rest need to be manually entered. This way you know exactly where you will be and which activity you will be doing. So I wrote a few of them here, but let's take an example. For breakfast, let's say at the hotel. Morning, let's say walk to Montmartre. Lunch on the go. Afternoon, spend time in a park. And you see the deal. So you basically just enter all your itinerary. So now let's go to the checklist. So this tab will help you prepare your travel and make sure that you do not forget anything. You simply have to list the task that you want to do to prepare your travel and write the task and the name of the person in charge. Then when the task is done, tick the checkbox and see the task progression graph change. So I wrote a few examples, but let's do another one. Buy a map. So this is going to be John's task. And as you can see, this is the task progression. So we have progression for when you book, 1 week before departure, 1 day before departure, departure day, and a to-do list. So if we tick, the graph will change and the task will be strike through. So now let's go to the packing list tab. So this packing list tab is to help you prepare your luggage, list all the travel members of your family. So here we only have John and Julia, but we could add another one here. Oops. Simply type in the name. Then list for each person the items they need to bring as well as the quantity. So I wrote a few examples, but we can write another one. Swimming suits, let's say 1 for John, and dresses, let's say 5 for Julia. So then when the item is in the luggage, simply tick the box and see the packing list graph progress. So as you can see, John still have a few things to do as well as Julia. So let's just tick this. And as you can see, the graph is moving. Same thing for Julia. Here we go. So now that we have data in our spreadsheet, let's go back to the travel overview tab. So in this tab, you will see an overview of your travel as well as all the general information. Don't forget that the traveler here, the currency, and the language are not automated, so you will have to write this information yourself. But don't worry, if you forget this information, it does not impact any other tabs. You will then easily see your itinerary right here. Simply use the drop-down menu here to choose the date. Oh, this one was not filled, but let's take another one. Right here. On the right, you have the checklist and the packing list progression, so you never forget anything. Then if we scroll down to the bottom, you will have all the information related to your budget. First, the initial budget, right here, the total expense, and left to budget. Then in this graph here, you can compare your budget to the real expense. You also have a quick summary in the middle of all your expense and in which categories you spend the most. Then see who spends the most and easily see who owns who, so you can balance it out while traveling. So that's it. I hope this tutorial helps you easily set up your spreadsheet. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or concerns. Follow Priori Digital Studio on Etsy and YouTube for sneak peeks and new templates.